Hey guys, I wanted to make this simple video sharing my experience and some tips on taking the driving test in Victoria. And this is for people that are interested in changing over their overseas license into a Victorian driving license. And my assumptions in making this video is that you have taken the two tests prior to the driving test, which is your learner's test and your hazards perception test, and have currently booked your driving test. Okay? If not, if you're interested in swapping over to a Victorian driving license, I'm going to provide a link below for you to access to see whether you need to go through these tests again. Let's begin. So firstly, the location that I did my test is at Pakenham, and the test was scheduled on the 12th of December, which is current date. And yeah, my first tip to you, if you are booking a test in a location that you're not familiar with, is to visit the location beforehand. This is really important because this helps you understand how the roads are, whether it's mostly small or mostly big roads, what the speed limits are like, how the traffic is like. And yeah, I think it's a good way to help prepare yourself for the test beforehand. For me, I visited one day before, so in a way it's quite fresh on my mind. Yeah, and it really gave me an overall idea of how the roads are, whether it's a mixture of big, whether a mixture of small. And yeah, it's impossible to cover the whole area and know the exact route unless someone makes a video on it. But I think it's good enough to give you an idea on how it goes. On the day, my first tip to you for the day of your test is to arrive early. So definitely plan beforehand. And at Vic Roads, they allow you to enter about 10 minutes before your appointment time. And for me, I arrived a bit earlier, like 30 minutes before, and I didn't look at the time before I wanted to go in. And the person at the door just told me, hey, maybe you can come in 10 minutes or 15 minutes before your appointment time. And that's when they let you in, and that's when the process will begin, in a sense. And one thing that's really important, and I feel that this information would have really helped me beforehand because I already spent my money on buying an L plate. So listen to this, you do not need an L plate if you have a full license overseas and you have your own car and you do not have an instructor. So if you're not taking lessons in Australia, if you're confident by yourself and you have a full overseas driving license, you do not need to show an L plate on your car during the test. Okay? However, if you are learning from an instructor, and I would assume that you most probably would use the instructor's car, then naturally you would have your L plate. But let me repeat myself. You do not need an L plate if you have a full license from overseas and your own car. During the test, there are two parts to the driving test. First part being a 10-minute section and the second part being a 20-minute section. So the first part is a bit more simpler, where they test your signaling, your ability to stay on the side of the road, and yeah, they do test either a 3-point turn or a reverse parallel park. So make sure you practice on that if you think you will struggle on the day, or if you struggle currently in your driving. And in the second part, they test your ability to change lanes properly, and in a bit busier roads, like let's say the main roads where your speed limits are 70, 80, and they test your ability to change lanes, to have your head checks, to signal, to enter exit lanes, make proper turns, staying on your side, or turning and finishing in another lane, or things like that. But overall, it's just driving. Overall, stay on the side of the road, don't cross lines where you're not supposed to, and also definitely read the driving test book that Vic Roads supplies. I'm also going to include a link down below so that helps you out as well. And A couple of things to mention. I believe that a lot of us have nerves when we are going to be tested, and I think this is natural. I believe it's natural to feel nervous or a bit anxious before the day of the test. But here's some tips for you. Firstly, be confident in yourself, in your skills, in your ability to drive because you already have an overseas driving license. So there's honestly not too much to worry about, you know. Um, in the end, it comes down to your solid foundation of your skills already. And if you do not think that you have enough experience, I definitely suggest you to get an instructor, get some friends that have licenses here to maybe teach you the proper ways or ask for advice from them. Okay? So first, be confident. Second, be prepared. It is natural for anyone as well to make the proper preparations before any exam in school, in university, and same for this test. Okay? Make sure you read the learner's book. That will be when you're taking your learner's test. And although you may assume, yeah, I've got experience, I don't really need to see this, I think it's important to see what's relevant in the road laws in Australia because it may differ from where you're from. Okay? And secondly, there is the thing that I mentioned before, which is the driving test booklet. And this actually gives you good detail on what they actually test you on. And yeah, it's really detailed. It really helps you out to understand what they're looking for. And from there, you can basically show them what they're looking for in a sense, but also, you know, showing them that you can drive confidently and safely as well. Last but not least, the third tip I have for you is to breathe. It is so important to breathe during the test and obviously before the test. But breathing allows you to focus, allows your blood to flow properly, and that helps with releasing any anxiety or pent up nervousness. So breathe deep breaths in and out of your nose, and that helps you to calm down and to focus. Because in the end, a good way to look at the Victorian driving test is basically taking the testing officer out for a drive. And this drive is only 30 minutes, so it's a drive around town. And yeah, be free to make small talk with your testing officer because they are humans too, you know, and they are there to just see how safe you are on the road, not how fast you are, not the skills of your driving. I mean, it is the skills of your driving, but you get what I mean. And yeah, they're just humans as well. Just enjoy the ride. Just talk to them as well, if you can. If you need to focus, then by all means, go ahead. But in the end, enjoy the ride. It's really simple in the end. So just stay calm, stay cool, be confident in yourself, be prepared, and breathe. This is Benjamin Chin, signing out.